Hey guys, hope you're doing well. Had a nice little snowstorm yesterday. I was at work, of course, so I didn't get to see. I got to see it out the window, but my girls went and sledded down the hill behind our house. It's all gone now, though, which is good. I don't want it on the roads anyway. But so I was gonna just make a little video about insecurity. So had an interesting dream last night. It was, at, I don't know. I was with some people and they were real, it was real high level people, really good people. And it was like I had this like crushing insecurity come out. It was like almost like a drown, like I was drowning in it. Like it felt like, uh, it just felt like it was like all consuming. And I kind of started to have a meltdown in the dream. And it was mostly the feeling of regret. Like, oh my God, this insecurity's been, holding me back this whole time. And something along those lines. It was like I said, it was like a feeling of regret. And so it just got me thinking about the current situation and what we're going through as a collective. We're going through a collective insecurity, and there's this is where I talk about it over and over millions of times, but having this practice where we learn to have detachment and learn to observe, emotions and not be so attached to stuff. Realizing we have a choice, we can make a choice. I mean, that's a big revelation, right? Because we're going to go through a period of time, and it could last. I don't know. It could last years and years, um, where we're going to be unrolling all this truth, and the truth is is wonderful and it's great, and we want the truth. But there's also a part of us that is kind of living in denial, and what I mean by that is there's a part of us is attached to this part of life that is completely fake. It's not, um, the 3D reality is not so much fake, but it's constantly changing. There's nothing secure about it. So when all of your energy is tied up into things that are insecure, that's going to breed great insecurity at some point. And you can see this with a lot of historical figures, a lot of great artists, inventors were actually really insecure people because they use this, they channeled their insecurity basically to produce, you know, formulas or inventions or all kinds of things. And because they had complete attachment to the 3D reality. I mean, we're conditioned that this is the course we're supposed to take, right? We're supposed to be complete servants to 3D reality. And this is what I loved about Sahaj Mark so much is, Daji talks about two wings of a bird. You have to have the material wing and the spiritual wing. I mean, they're working in tandem to keep you at the right, you know, keep you level and keep you flying straight. And our society has completely gone the other direction. It's gone completely to the material side. And right now we're like in this material nosedive. And to the point where, I mean, okay, so imagine this. I was thinking about these dark forces, these Luciferians, Satanists that are running and controlling things. Um, think about their level of insecurity. I mean, it's profound, right? I mean, they're so insecure that they have to actually literally enslave people. The only way they can get any kind of satisfaction is by causing harm. I mean, can you imagine coming from that place? What a horrible existence. I mean, they are the most insecure because they've tied up their whole their whole ball of wax is this 3D reality. Nothing else exists for them. The only reason they practice these occult practices is to gain power in the 3D realm. That's the only reason. And it just it pushes them in complete opposite direction of having true security. Punjaji, Art of Living, he's kind of the head of the Art of Living, and he would say the only true security in life is in the process of giving love. And I thought about that all these years, and it's just really, honestly, it's the truth. When you're in a state of love, that's the only security. Everything else is just so temporary, so ephemeral, so changing that anything could just sweep it away at any moment. I mean, your house, everything you think is so solid, so real, your marriage, your kids, your job, you could lose any of it at any moment. And I mean, if you're honestly, if you pay any attention at all, you come to that conclusion pretty soon, right? But what happens is instead of acknowledging that and looking for what is the true source of security, which is the spiritual path, right? So when you become spiritualized, you start to look outside of this material 3D reality for your sense of security. That's a big leap. But the system has conditioned us. The number one thing I think the system has done is to get us to believe that God is not real. Now, the reason they did that is because they didn't want us to know that while they were telling us that God doesn't exist, they were studying this occult stuff. They were diving into the occult, and they were trying to harness power on these, I guess you could call them spiritual levels, but they're low levels. They're trying to do all this stuff and at the same time telling us, nope, God's not real, God doesn't exist. It's all just an accident, it's just evolution, it's just random chance that we developed and became what we are. And what we're going to see is a complete collapse of that, because practitioners, people who even have any kind of common sense whatsoever, know that God is real. God is a real thing. Now, what do you call it? I don't know. You can call it a million different things, right? Matter of fact, it's unnameable. At its true core, it's really unnameable. But it's definitely real, and there are levels and layers to it. And um, this is what is coming, is this realization of all of this. It's going to be These things are going to be unrolled slowly and methodically, so people don't have total mental breaks. But here's an example. Okay, so I know I'm kind of rambling, but here's an example. So I have a friend at work, and when all this rioting started and all this stuff with all the protesting, the Antifa, the Black Lives Matter, he was like, oh well, it kind of makes sense that how do these people are reacting like this because they've been oppressed, and the total victim mentality thing. And I've talked to him many times about stuff and tried to reveal truth to him, and actually I've told him some very profound things, and but it's so interesting. He could not hear it. He couldn't hear it. So yesterday he comes to me. He goes, I want to talk to you about something. And he's like, yeah. He goes, what do you think's going on right now? And so I told him how it was. I told him about the one world government, new world order takeover, the communist Chinese. They're basically the front men for this cabal that's trying to take over society and turn us into slaves, and total oppression, and the censoring of the media, how the media is censoring, and the censoring happening with all of the big tech companies. And he was like, yeah, that's exactly what my friend was saying. He has a friend who was, red pilling him too. But see, the point was though, he had to ask the question, right? When I tried to just tell him information, he couldn't hear it. It was like he was deaf. He could not hear it. But once he started asking the question, that's that godly spark, that intuition, um, that divine within us, seeking answers, seeking something outside ourselves, something outside this box that we're in. That's that's where we're headed as a collective. He's just an example of one person waking up, but there are millions of people waking up every day. People are waking up. One of the people I follow on Twitter said the number one red pill that she sees right now, she used to be left wing, fanatical, left wing person, super liberal. And she said the number one thing she sees right now is the censorship is waking people up, because what they're doing is they're panicking. They're panicking. You have to see it for what it is. It's a complete hysterical panic. If they were smart, they wouldn't have shut Trump off of Twitter. They would have let him continue. But they're not. They're not smart. And when they feel threatened, they do what they do, which is try to consolidate power, try to shut down. Um, and anyway, it's interesting. And but I just wanted to share that with you about the insecurity stuff. We're all going through it. I mean, the insecurity thing has been programmed into us. Okay, it's just something. It's disgusting. It's gross, and it's just something that will take some time to let go of it. But once we become conscious of the fact, then we can really activate. We can really activate. Daji has a book called Designing Destiny, and basically what the book is about is how we can basically reprogram ourselves on a DNA level. We can reprogram our DNA, and it's interesting, really awesome. Take your power back, take back your power, and that's the number one way to get rid of this insecurity, is to just take your power back. We have a tremendous amount of power just in our own mind. You know, become like a mind ninja. You know, you know, look for those things that are programming you. Unplug from those things. Unplug from the things that are you know uh, stirring you up, getting you all riled up. Come back to center. Focus on source. Focus on God. All right, I love you guys. Have a good day.